We've got all sorts of humor coming at us, and some of it is very bawdy, B-A-W-D-Y, meaning dirty kind of thing. But some of it is very meaningful, and it keeps this idea of a struggle between hell and heaven, between good and evil, alive. In come some significant characters, and let's take a look at some of the lines as we build towards these. So I'm around line 45. Our editions may be a little different. I love it. This is one of my favorite lines in the play. It's very minor, not significant at all. Macduff, is the king stirring, worthy thing? And here's Macbeth. Not yet. Yeah, that king's not going to stir very much anymore. Macduff has been commanded to appear, I guess, to wake the king up. Macbeth seems to recover himself. Oh, the other thing we've got to keep in mind, how much time has elapsed between 2-2 and 2-3? How much time would you say has gone by? Pardon? What did Macbeth hear at the end of Act 2, Scene 2? A knocking at the door. The door has just been opened, so let's try that again. How long, how much time do you think is actually? Probably a few minutes. And we remember what mood he was in? What are his last words in Act 2, Scene 2?
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking, I would thou couldst.
So we know that Macbeth, the last, like 2 minutes earlier, has said, wake Duncan with thy knocking, I would thou couldst. So we know that he is very, very troubled by what he's done. Okay. Remember this idea of a continuum. If he is troubled here, 2 minutes later, he is probably still troubled. So, let's continue. Lennox continues the notion of pathetic fallacy. The night has been unruly, he says. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down. And as they say, lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverous and did shake. Okay, look at the imagery. What's going on out there? Well, what are some of the specific images? What's going on? What's the world experiencing? Right?
Everything's going on.
Everything's going wrong. Let's get some specifics.
Earthquake.
There's an earthquake. The earth was feverous, sick, and it did shake. Some other images from there. We're looking for consistency in Shakespeare here. Good job.
Bad weather, like rain and storm.
Just rain.
And thunder and storm.
And thunder and storm. Okay, we've got storm going on. What else? Some other images? Yes?
The only hash, the obscure bird.
The obscure bird, that's the owl again. So there's that image of evil. Anything else? Mm-hmm.
Some kind of hurricane.
Some kind of hurricane, some kind of wind, some sort of great wind. Anybody who knows the Bible might remember the idea of reaping the whirlwind, how our actions can bring a great and destructive wind. How strong was the wind? It blew down the chimneys. What are chimneys part of? Houses. What do houses symbolize? Society, order. The wind is so strong, it is breaking down order. You see how consistent Shakespeare's been? Okay. In comes Macduff. He has seen the body, and look at the response. Oh, horror, horror, horror. Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee. What he has seen cannot be expressed in words. There is no word for this. What else theoretically cannot be expressed in a word? Anybody have an idea? What cannot be expressed? It is indefinable. Even though we have words for it, they don't begin to capture it. One word cannot capture what it supposedly describes. Yeah?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
No, that's pretty specific. You can understand that. God. God cannot be captured by the word God. And actually, the early names for God, Yahweh, means I am that I am. In other words, there's no attempt to try and capture the concept within the word. It simply is what it is. And now we have a horror that cannot be named. So again, there's that reference to something huge. Macbeth and Lennox, what's the matter? What a hypocrite this guy is. Now look at the words. Confusion now has made his masterpiece. So confusion here. Anybody want to hazard a guess? What kind of confusion are we talking about? 7?
How things should be.
How things should be. Good, David.
Confusion in the order.
Confusion in the order. Most, look at the word, sacrilegious murder hath broke open the Lord's anointed temple and stolen thence the life of the building. What do you imagine the Lord's anointed temple might be? I'm sorry?
The palace?
It could be the palace. Anybody else? Yeah?
Nothing fun.
Duncan's body. A key word, anointed. What is a temple? What is a temple? Sorry? Place to worship, place to pray, place where the faithful gather. Is Duncan a symbol then of where the faithful gather? You see the building? You see where the imagery is keeping us? Macbeth continues. Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. What was the Gorgon? Sorry? Medusa. What does Medusa do to you? Go ahead, Kai.
I think that's what I was trying to say.
We'll say it again because I think
Gorgons turn you into stone with their
they turn
gaze.
you into stone. They turn you into something that cannot feel. Stone has no heart. Importantly, stone has no soul. And he tries to raise everybody up. Lady Macbeth now comes in. She's been summoned by all the noise. And we notice, we remember that in Act 2, Scene 2, she attempted to calm her husband, but before her husband arrived, and she realized that he was panicking and that she had to do something to calm him down. And that's when we got all of the, oh, it just takes a little water. Take the daggers back, you idiot. Don't forget, we can't assume that is her being her. We only know that that is her being the wife of Macbeth. And most of you who did that question accurately pointed out that she is trying to comfort him, trying to calm him, so that they don't become revealed. When she was on her own, she too is jumping. And that's when we got the line, had he not resembled my father as he slept, I would have done it. So we know that there are stirrings of conscience there. And, the title of yesterday's lesson, how thick the blood? Is it thick enough? Apparently, it hasn't been. So in she comes. She makes